All right. So hello and welcome. Thank you for logging on and attending today's virtual program. My name is Matt Schumann. I'm on the programming team here at Cary Library. Before we begin, please let me know if there are any technical issues I can try to resolve. You can send those to me in the chat. Questions can also be asked through the chat. This program was made possible by the generous donors to the Cary Library Foundation. I'd like to now introduce Anastasia Galanopoulos. She has a Ph.D. in developmental and family studies and 25 years of experience in early human development. Her practice is located in Lexington as Galanopoulos Education and Training. While not a chef by training, she cooks daily for her family, focusing on gut healthy eating for mental and overall health, and is here to share her knowledge and love for food as medicine. So please welcome Anastasia.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, Matt and Mina, and what a wonderful series it's been. We're very grateful to be a part of it. This is my son, Stefanos. We call him Steph for short. Right? And what we're going to do today is, so I'm just going to say a couple of things. I've got the computer set up here. The screen is here. The camera is there. So sometimes I forget that the camera is there and I may look at the screen. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm doing. I'll try to look at the straight at the camera. But what we've done is we've set up all of our ingredients here. We're going to make 3 different types of Greek salad. You want to say what they are?
So we have the first one that we're gonna make is a tomato and cucumber salad with onions, olives, and feta cheese. The next one that we're gonna make is a cabbage salad, which is like shredded. Next we're gonna have just a lettuce salad.
Or romaine lettuce.
Yeah.
So the idea is that when you think of a Greek salad, when people think of a Greek salad, depending on, if you're in Greece, a Greek salad is traditionally a tomato and cucumber salad and a few other ingredients that go in there. A tomato salad is traditionally eaten any time of the year, but almost always during the summer. So when we're there in the summer, we're always having that kind of salad. It's called a choriatiki, which means like a peasant country salad. When we add the feta on top. If it doesn't have the feta, it's just a tomato cucumber salad is the way that it's referred to it. But it has tomatoes, it has cucumbers, red onion. This is an Italian long pepper. It's kind of a lighter color. You can use any kind of pepper, but this is kind of the traditional pepper. Olives. And we have 2 different kinds of olives here, which we'll show you in a second. And we have the feta cheese, I should show up there, okay? And of course, and the parsley.
That's from our garden.
Yes, we got our parsley from our garden. This year we have an extensive garden, and we're looking forward to it. Yesterday we harvested the first set of Tuscan kale leaves, and that was really delicious. Okay, so should we get started on this one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
I should peel the
let's peel that. The cucumber. We always peel the cucumber in Greece, so that's what we're used to doing. We know that a lot of the vitamins and minerals are on the skin of fruits and vegetables, but it's also very difficult to digest skins. Your gut, our human gut, is actually has a harder time with raw vegetables. So that's why the fermentation of vegetables historically has happened. And when we Greeks make a salad, we peel fruits and we peel vegetables, not necessarily like the tomato. But while Steph is peeling the cucumber, I just want to say something about knife skills. When I'm not trained as a chef, so my knife skills are not probably as good as Steph's, because he's learned, he's learned proper technique late, what do I want to say, earlier in your life than I did. So you might see, so I'll use a chef's knife, but I also am way more comfortable using a small knife to do everything I need, like a paring knife, right? So while he's peeling the cucumber, I'm just gonna, so all the vegetables have been washed and you want to make sure of that. We're just gonna get rid of this core in the, and this is the way I do it, is I just use my thumb to kind of guide the point of the knife, and I just go around it and get rid of that core. So I'll do that to all 3 tomatoes. These are, you know, they're in season. Our tomatoes have not come in yet, but I'm so excited to see them and to taste them this year. Oops.
And so we're using 3 tomatoes and 1 cucumber.
Yep. And so we're gonna I'm gonna give Steph 1, right? And then I'll do the other 2. Yeah. So you be very careful with your knife. Now, traditionally, I've noticed that Americans, Italians kind of use a different cutting technique for their tomato in a salad, or like if you were going to make tomato, basil, mozzarella, or something like that. And we try to just make this wedge. Instead of cutting it this way, all as a slice this way, we're going to do little wedges, and that's the way that it's more traditionally done for a Greek salad. So if you were to visit Greece, this is the kind of shape you would see. No, so you can do it. If you hold it up this way, you can cut it. See how I'm doing it? Yep. So just like that. Tomatoes should never be refrigerated because they can lose their flavor if you do that. So we're going to place them. I'll move the plate. Maybe once we place them in the plate, we'll move it after everything is done, and we can make it look pretty. So much of the fun of cooking is right, the presentation, don't you think? So I'm gonna cut them just a little bit thinner. Yeah, just a little bit, but you're doing a good job on that. So we're just placing the wedges all around. Now that's more of a presentation style. In Greece, you're gonna find it in a bowl, and right, and sort of family style. Okay.
I really like eating these wedges instead of just sliced.
Right. There's so much nutrition in potatoes, in tomatoes, also in potatoes, it turns out. There's a lot of magnesium in potatoes that we really need. But anyway, a lot of nutrition in tomatoes. Of course, everybody knows about lycopene, and when you cook a tomato, it makes it more bioavailable, but these are raw, of course. But one of the fondest memories I have of growing up in Greece is, do you remember the stories I've told you about one of the snacks that Iya used to prepare for us? That has to do with tomato? So what would she put, what would she spread on a piece of bread sometimes?
Tomato with like oil and oregano.
Yeah, tomato paste. So that's actually, or it used to be anyway when I grew up with that, just tomato paste on a piece of bread. Yummy. So that's a concentration of a lot of tomato. If you've never tried it, I would highly recommend it with a little drizzle of olive oil, some oregano, and there's a, you know, maybe a little bit of salt, but there's already quite a bit of salt on there, right? So I think I'm gonna just, we don't need to cut this entire tomato, but just so you can see what the tomato sort of,
like presentation.
yeah. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then next, we're gonna do cucumbers.
We're gonna do the cucumbers, and actually, you'll probably find that it's cut in half this way, lengthwise, for like a half moon shape. This is a traditional shape you'll find in a salad. You can cut it really any way you like it. But it's about, what is that, like 1/4 of an inch? The thinner it is, you don't want it to be paper thin, but it just makes for a really beautiful combination of colors and textures.
I like these happening.
I like these too. See, some of them are. So Steph knows this, but you know, I recently did a webinar on relationship building and why that's really important for building attention and memory, working memory, and sort of all of the learning skills that we need. And cooking is such a great activity to do with your family, because while you're cooking, and this is of course no cooking with heat, but while you're preparing food, we talk about, you want to do it the other way, it's safer maybe. There you go, and watch your fingers. So there you go. So we talk about stories and memories, and it just makes it really fun. So I'm going to start on the onion. In Greece, you're going to find only red onions. I mean, you'll find all other kinds of onions, but in terms of salad, this is the onion that you want. It has the most nutrition, but beyond that, I just want to say that when you peel an onion, you want to make sure that you peel as little of the layer as possible, of the outer layers, because a lot of the nutrition, the quercetin, for example, which is it's a nutrient that helps to build your antioxidant process in the body. And so if you peel too much, so this is the outer layer of the skin, if you end up peeling some of this that may not look so good to you, if it's bruised or something, you can maybe get a little bit rid of it. But try not to get rid of this layer, because a lot of the nutrition is right in that darker layer. So, you know, I get rid of the bottom there and this little part, and then I'm gonna give you that. Yeah, let's turn it, maybe turn it to the side. Yeah, yep. And you want to cut it as thinly as possible. And we're gonna start to cry a little bit. Are you tearing up yet?
Not yet. I usually tear up a lot.
I remember, so Steph went to FISC, and I don't know if you remember this, a couple of years ago, or whenever that was, that you did your first project. There was a team, there were some girls, a team of girls, maybe two, it was just two friends who did an experiment on onions, on the potency of onions. And what I recall is their conclusion, they showed that more tearing was produced by red onions, and that's probably because there's more nutrition.
Yeah, I'm starting.
Right? I'm starting too.
Well, and what we want to do is just like take them apart so they're like little, they're like strips.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. You can take mine when you're done. Also, we want, we want a good onion, probably an entire onion on there. Again, this is though up to you in terms of your preference and your sensitivity perhaps to onion. But if you do have sensitivity to onion and garlic, it's probably signaling that you need to do some work on your gut, because there's lots of anti-cancer obviously properties to onions, anything in the allium family. But they are very caustic, right? They burn.
Red onions really
Right?
have a lot.
Yeah. If you want to wash your hands, you can do that. Okay. And then we're gonna, what's next step? What you want to do that at the end? Because the parsley is kind of the decoration on the top. Oh yeah, we forgot about the pepper. So the pepper, again, everything has been washed, right? You want to just get rid of the seeds inside. And this is an Italian pepper, like I said. You can use a dark green bell pepper. You can use red, but this is kind of this is what you will find.
I mean, for me, I like half green pepper and then half red pepper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We eat a lot of peppers. There's a lot of vitamin C in peppers. Way more than you would find in an orange, for example, right? Yep, just thin. We're slicing that.
There's a question. Is that pepper spicy?
It's not. Absolutely not. So wherever you get your vegetables, if you look for or ask for an Italian green pepper, this is what you will find, that long, light green pepper. In Greece, they're slightly darker, I have to say. They're not as dark as, a green bell pepper. You'll find green bell peppers in Greece as well. But our bell peppers are smaller, and this is the closest to what you can find here. They're not spicy. You can add spice if you want, but these are not spicy. Okay, that, and then what's left? So you want to talk about, we have two, you want to hold one? So we have two different kinds of olives, a lot of omega-3 fats in olives. These are Kalamata olives. These are oil cured olives. I don't know if you can see, they're kind of wrinkly, and they're shiny, really super shiny. Olives are a fermented food. And so a lot of their nutrition and their anti-cancer fighting properties are due to the fact that all of these nutrients that are contained in olives are bioavailable because of the fermentation process. So you can use any kind of olive you like, but Greek olives have a lot of nutrition, right?
There was a relevant question. Do you get these olives at a specialty market or the ordinary supermarket?
I can get, I find them at Market Basket, and which is, I can find almost everything I need at Market Basket, except a few organic fruits and vegetables that I can't find there. So Whole Foods, but Market Basket for us, for our family, is really where we get a lot of our food. So you can find these at Market Basket. They come in jars in the aisle where the olive oil is. In fact, I get my olive oil from there as well. I have it in this bottle, but it's the Greek olive oil that comes in a big can.
So it comes in a big can with put in the bottle.
Mhm.
I was just gonna say that these olives, both of these that we use, these came in plastic containers.
Yes, these are.
We use both in the jar and.
These particular olives are actually made by a different company than I usually get. They say on them, Greek Kalamata olives, but when I look at them, I have to say, so a pure Kalamata olive is going to be a little bit darker than this, not too much darker, and you know that you have a true Kalamata olive when the pit on the inside is lighter. So it has to be this kind of mauve color. When it's lighter, my dad taught me that trick. I didn't know that. So he could tell which one was an authentic Greek olive and which one was not. But yeah, these were in a plastic container, correct. So we've got the tomatoes, the cucumbers, the red onion, the olives, the pepper, and then, yeah. So here's our feta, and do you want to cut the feta or do you want to cut the parsley? Okay, so these are, I don't know, how many stalks are these? Like 5 stalks or something like that. You just want some leaf. We actually, I like to keep the stalks and cut them up because it gives us some texture and you're not wasting anything and they taste good. So while Steph is chopping that up, I'm going to chop up the feta. This is an authentic feta, again from Greece. Feta is really an individual, it's an acquired taste. So if you've never had true authentic feta, I would invite you to try an imported Greek feta and not like just domestic feta. Depending on how it is made, it can be firm. Like this is a semi-firm. Other ones are super soft and creamy. I don't like them when they're super soft and creamy, but some people do. So Dodoni, the brand, which is a town in the northern part of Greece, that feta is a little softer than this one, which I like. It's all on, you know, whatever your preference is, but definitely try an imported, genuine feta from Greece. This is from the northern part of Greece. It's grass-fed sheep's milk only. Authentic feta is actually 60% sheep's milk, 40% goat's milk, or the other way around. I can't remember. And Yorgo told me that because they are from an agricultural family. Our friend. Yeah, you can sprinkle on top.
There was a question where you do you get that at Market Basket or these other stores as well, or is that?
Yeah, definitely. So there are lots of Greek stores, not lots, but there's a number. And I do get stuff from Sophia's Pantry. There's one in Belmont, there's one in Lowell. But I can find, like I said, almost everything at Market Basket, and this is from Market Basket. Now, I'm gonna just clean the board a little bit before I'm gonna put it on here so you can see before we dress it what it looks like. So, want to place it on there, Steffi? The plate? So really, we put it on this platter just for beautiful presentation. You're more likely to find it in a bowl like that on your table. Go to a taverna or something, and but are we forgetting anything in terms of the ingredients? Okay, so now comes the pièce de résistance. What do we do?
Add a little salt.
Yep. So this is yep. So it's hard to say. I like to use my fingers, but you just want to cover the surface and just start with those, a couple of pinches like that, depending on the kind of salt you're using. So if you're using like a kosher salt, that has less sodium in it than if you're using a Mediterranean salt, that's fine. If you're using, you know, depending on the salt basically that you're using, you know, Himalayan salt might have actually the same amount of sodium. But we're not going to toss the salad here, just not to be messy. But what you always want to do when you're preparing food is to toss, taste, and move on. Not yet. Oh, let's finish it. No, yeah, right? So then this is the extra virgin olive oil. One thing you'll know about Mediterranean cooking, at least Greek cooking, is that it is very heavy on olive oil. So I'm talking about a lot of olive oil. Like we pretty much drink the olive oil, right? Not really, not really,
Not really.
but you know, we have a lot of it. So I'm just drizzling it here on top, but I would say in the salad, we would probably use another twice as much as what I probably use. So if I had to, and again, I know Mina asked for recipes and I'm gonna try and come up with actual measurements for you, but I would say at least a quarter cup of olive oil in this for the salad. What do you think? Okay. And then we use this vinegar, right? We use this vinegar. You have to always shake this up. And this is how I measure it. I just want to try and get onto every surface. So I would say about 3 to 4. 2, 3, there's 4 capfuls. 4 capfuls for this.
So there was a question, do you dress it right before you serve it or just
Yes.
when you're making it? Okay.
You know, it keeps well, so you don't want to make it many, many hours ahead, but an hour ahead is okay. And I dress it when I'm making it. Unless, yeah, and this is Greek oregano. This is from Greece, actually. And it's heavy. It's an antiviral. It's a antibacterial. It's really great. We put it on everything.
There was a question too, do you use wine vinegar or balsamic ever?
So that's a great question. I used to use only wine vinegar for most of my life. And then I really discovered that wine vinegar doesn't have the mother in it, what's called the mother or the SCOBY. Do you remember what that stands for? SCOBY? Symbiotic colony of beneficial yeasts, something like that. So the reason I started using this, and we've been using this for probably 7, 10 years, something like that. So if you look, you see how it's cloudy?
Yeah.
Actually, let's get the new one. I just thought we also drink this stuff because it, you know,
Not really.
well,
I mean, sometimes with water.
I don't mean that we actually drink it. I just mean that we use a lot of it. But if you look over here, this is a new bottle, and you can see kind of this what looks like gunk on the bottom. That is really beneficial. This is what's going to sort of kill any unfriendly yeast in your gut. And so when
That's
you
why I have to shake it,
right?
because then it goes all over the place.
Right.
It's not just at the bottom.
So when you shake it, you see that it becomes milkier or cloudier. And so this is the one I use because unless I'm making my own vinegar, and I haven't done that yet, but that's a project for us to try and make our own vinegar. You want those beneficial yeast to be in there. Otherwise, there's no reason to use it. We do use balsamic sometimes. I do have balsamic, but because it has sugar in it, I don't use it too much, right? What else? And then normally, like if this were in a bowl, which it normally would have been, I would have been tossing it, tasting it. Well, let's taste it. Let's see how it tastes without tossing it. See if we can get a little. It needs more salt, and it needs more vinegar, actually, right? So I would double the vinegar. What do you think?
Yeah.
Right? More oil, more vinegar. So we used 4 capfuls. I would say for this amount of salad, I would use 8 capfuls and twice as much as what I did, this drizzle on top that I did, another twice of that. So 3 times altogether, whatever that amount was. So I'll have to come up with those measurements for you. So that's the Greek salad. Okay. Now, what do we have next? Which one should we do next? The cabbage? Okay, sure. Want to talk about the cabbage?
So the cabbage, first what we have to do is, since it's kind of not dirty, but it's sort of dirty. We have to take off the front leaves,
The outer leaves?
the outer leaves, just peel them off.
Just
So
a
that-
couple, right?
Yeah, just a couple layers.
And then what else do we do?
We cut off the like the stem.
This bottom part.
Yeah, the bottom part. And
You want to check to see if there's any bruising or something.
yeah,
There's just a
we
little.
cut it off.
Yeah. But that's all really you need for this. And this salad is more of a winter salad. It's Steph's probably favorite salad, right? So this is the only ingredient in the salad. It's cabbage, salt, olive oil, and vinegar. That's it. The trick here is that you want to cut be careful,
Yeah,
you're going to cut very thin, right? To cut it really thinly. The thinner it is, the better it is. And here's the reason. Cabbage, belongs in the brassica family. It has a lot of antioxidants, vitamin C, calcium, all sorts of minerals. But beyond that, it also contains naturally some lactobacilli on it, so this friendly bacteria. And so when you add the salt, which we'll add, and you rub it, you are, in essence, fermenting in real time the cabbage. And it's important because, and this is why having it be thin is really important, because you are allowing that bacteria to produce all these wonderful B vitamins and enzymes and all sorts of good stuff for your gut and for your health. So you're basically like shredding. I'm sure there are machines to do this. I just don't. I do it by hand. That's good. How does it feel? Now be careful on the end now. So when you get to the end, you can just press it on the side, right? And just do it like we did the onion. So you could do it this way.
Just for the end.
Yeah.
Feel very thin.
And the trick to this salad is, other than slicing it thin, is the rubbing of the salt, right?
Yeah. And for this, like the onion, we have to sort of take it apart. Like if I have a bunch of these that are like together, to like sort of.
Do you want to put it? Are we going to put it in this?
Yeah.
In the bowl. Okay.
And then for these little white chunks, you can like chop them up a little bit more if they're not too thin.
We're just really separating the slices. It's kind of the equivalent of Greek coleslaw, but there's absolutely no mayonnaise in here. It's just salt, like we said, salt, vinegar, oil. That's it. Okay. While Steph is finishing that, you need a lot of salt on this one. So you put the salt, and then you kind of uncover the other part. Yep. And when it's in there, want to finish that? You kind of rub it. Want to do this? Our hands are clean because we washed, obviously, before we started. Well, everywhere. And then, if you think you've done it, what would be nice for this salad is to rub the salt and actually allow it to ferment, for a half hour or something. It will look wilted, but in fact, what that tells you is that you've started the fermentation and the digestion process. It's very hard for the human body to digest raw brassica every vegetable, raw vegetable, but especially for something like a cabbage or a broccoli or a cauliflower or something like that, or a kale that we were talking about. you want to be able, the salt breaks down the cell membrane and allows it to become more digestible. And if you have any thyroid issues, you want to make sure, because there are a lot of goitrogens in cabbage and other brassica, you want to make sure that you are actually cooking them really well or salting them quite well and allowing them to ferment.
There was a question in the chat of what kind of salt do you use for this dish?
So I've been using right now, can you bring the other one also? The other blue. This particular salt is just this. Again, I picked this up at Market Basket, and I want the iodide in the salt.
And we also use this kind of salt, but it wouldn't be coarse salt. We wouldn't use that for like normal.
So both of these are sea salts. And I usually have a coarse salt for like fermenting and a fine salt, but I couldn't find it, so I'm using this. I sometimes have, like I used to have a grinder with Himalayan salt, but my normal salt is a sea salt that I buy. Okay, so just olive oil.
And then this we would toss it. So
You need to, yeah. And then, yeah, you can use that. And so I'm gonna, again, try to, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would say 6.
yeah, 6 is
It's for a small cabbage head like we had. So again, under normal circumstances, you would have left this a little bit at room temperature to kind of ferment, and then added your olive oil and vinegar. That looks good. Should we try it? And let's see how it is.
You received a compliment in the chat that you both are a great team.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much. We love to do this together with all my boys, actually. My oldest is a chef by training. But that's what we do. We have some great videos of Steph. How old were you when you were making that pizza?
Oh, I was like 3,
Not
4.
even 3. No,
Yeah,
you
no,
weren't
I was
4. Like
like
2.5. He's making a pizza, and you're lisping as you're talking. It was just so cute. Okay, so that's the cabbage salad. And now, what's left? Okay, so talk about that, Steph.
So basically, in the lettuce salad, we're gonna have obviously lettuce, also some kale, which is over here, still, and then scallions, and then do you want to talk about this?
Sure. So that's the heart of the lettuce in the center of the romaine. Romaine is the only lettuce we usually use in Greece, other than like wild greens, which are sometimes called lettuces. But so this is the heart. My mom always would save the heart, and actually she would leave a little less of it. You know, she'd use some of these, and I'll show you. I don't even get rid of the. I keep this. What do you call this?
Like the
Stop.
like
Whatever this is.
like the stem.
The stem, yeah. We keep that. It's really crunchy. It has a little bit of a bitter taste. I just kind of peel it, and I cut it up into circles with a little olive oil and vinegar and salt, and it's delicious. But the heart was always kind of the decoration in the middle. So
Wait, I just wanted to say one more thing.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of the broccoli stems, and they
Yes.
dogs really love them. Like we give some to Jasper. And he really likes them.
yeah, we'll see. So we're just gonna basically, again, the trick with cutting this salad is, after you've washed everything, cut it thinly. So you just layer all the leaves on top of one another, and yeah, and you just thinly slice. So I would say like a 1/4 inch, maybe.
Oh, I really like cutting this.
Right?
Yeah.
It's fun. You like hearing the crunch?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Whenever you're cooking and you cook this type of salad a lot,
Mhm.
I always hear this crunching.
Mhm.
So like it's
We make a lot with romaine. We make fricassee with it. We make our traditional. There's a traditional soup that we make at Easter time. That's called mayonnaise. That has romaine in it. Be careful with the knife, okay? So this is 1 head of romaine. You want a nice, crisp, really dark green leaves. Again, the reason for the dark, you want to have, the darker the color, the more potent the nutrition in whatever vegetable we're talking about. So I'm just going to cut these little ones and leave the heart there. Okay. Now, the dill. So this is a salad that's heavy on dill. Well, we use a lot of dill in almost everything. Dill is really, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about 6 or 7 stalks. Okay. And again, I snip the bottom, and I do cut the stems. I use the stems because I like the crunch. It's intense flavor. Yes, yes. I use this in, like, if I'm making a tuna salad or a chicken salad or something like that with leftovers of when we're making fish. When we had fish the other night, I used dill and parsley and cilantro, whatever green herbs I have, and mint, which we have in our garden as well. And you just kind of spread it on top.
I used to not like dill, but now.
Yeah. And that's why. Why is that happening? That's right. And hopefully one day, what's my dream, Steph?
For me to like
Mushrooms.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it will. One day it will. One day it will happen. Okay, so 3 ingredients: the romaine, the dill, and then we have the scallions.
I also love cutting salads.
Yeah. So we just cut off the roots, the little beards. Yep. You cut those off. You cut off the edges there at the end, just because, you know, you've got some. And we really keep everything. Unless there's anything wrong with it, then you cut it off. Okay. Now you can cut the scallions the way I would, which is just, again, thinly sliced. So this is like 1/8 of an inch, maybe. You can cut them diagonally, like the way my son loves to cut it. But whatever pleases you and makes you happy, that's the way you should cut your veggies. And the more variety you have, the better it is for your health.
There are 2 questions relevant in the chat. It's what is the difference between scallions and chives, and can you use them interchangeably?
I think if you have a preference for one, again, variety is key. So I would recommend that you use both for different dishes. They're not the same thing. They're in the same family. I believe chives belong to the allium family. They're mild. Chives are milder. And you don't get this with chives. You don't get the onion part, the bulb part, right?
Scallions are also called green onions.
Yeah, they're an onion. So these are spicy in a sense because they taste like an onion, but they're a milder flavor than you would have in a green onion, or even in a Vidalia onion can sometimes be milder than a scallion, especially if a scallion is organic and you've grown it yourself. Oh my God, that's awesome. But use whatever you like. And then, so, pinch. Yep, I would start with that. And then you can toss stuff. Here are the, again, I would say.
Well, before I toss it,
Mhm.
I put this into this.
Okay, you wanna, oh, no, not that. It's this one.
Oh, it's this. I was so confused.
That's okay, but we'll toss it
This?
first,
Yeah.
and then we can
And then-
decorate, right? Okay. All right, so that's about enough there. And let's see. We've got, yeah, 2, 3, 4, maybe not, 5 to 6 capsules for that head. While Steph is tossing that, I'm just basically like peeling this a little bit. It's very bitter, but deliciously bitter. So just so you know, when a veggie is bitter, it actually is really good for you. In the way green tea is good for you, in the way like dandelion greens, which is something that we make often. So, but this is what it looks like, and then you can eat it like these medallions like that, and then just salt. Want to taste that and see how it is? A little salt? Okay, here you go. You could add this to like a turnip, not a turnip, sorry. I don't really like turnips. What do you call those other things? The radishes, like a daikon or carrot, and you can just make a little medley. And again, olive oil and vinegar, and you're good to go. This is a great snack. And actually, even instead of vinegar, you can do lemon juice, which is the other thing that we do very often. Okay. How does it taste? Is it good? Yay. So let us know if you have questions. We've gone through the.
Yeah, feel free to either unmute yourself to ask a question or continue to use the chat.
There we go. What this looks like. Oh, yeah. Good idea. So there's our first one. We can clean up here. Can you see? Yeah. Here's the cabbage salad and the Greek tomato cucumber salad, the koryatiki or peasant salad, and the romaine lettuce salad. So nice. So this is the overall popular Greek salad, most commonly during summer. Right? And then this is more a spring salad and a summer salad, and this is more of a winter salad.
But they could always
Eaten anytime. Okay.
There was a question in the chat about, do you use other types of cheeses than feta?
Yes. So we currently have in our fridge. I have manchego. I have a In terms of Greek, we have Galanopoulos.
Do you mind coming closer to the mic and saying it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. So we have a cephalograviera is what it's called. Again, I get this at Market Basket. You can get it at a specialty store. It's sort of like salty and oily, yeah. High fat, 9 grams of fat. Saganaki. So what we make is saganaki, which is basically
This of the cheese cut up into, just put it into the pan and then crispy the tissue.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yesterday, I made stuffed grape leaves, but the recipe did not call for olive oil.
oh.
But it does, right?
Well, we only use olive oil in this house.
Yeah.
Yeah, only olive oil. In fact, we just put up an arbor for our grapevine yesterday,
Yep.
and that's what we're gonna make sometime this week. I'm gonna cut some leaves and make stuffed grape leaves.
That's why I did it this week, because this is the time
Exactly.
to cut the leaves.
That's right. They're very fresh and tender, and it's the perfect time. You're right. So you would need dill for that, rice, and a lot of onion. That is the key to that, other than the olive oil. A lot of onion to sort of sweeten up the taste.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions?
I just want to say that these can be used, like the stem for the
Romaine?
the romaine can be used sort of like, I mean they're not chips, but they're like crunchy in the sense that you can use them.
Oh, I love that. And you know what? The vinegar and the citrus, if you're going to use citrus, it takes away all the bitterness. There's no bitterness in this at all.
Taste it.
At all. But if you were to taste it prior to any of the seasoning, it would be a little bitter. That is good. I can't see. You have favorite? Sorry, I should.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was unmuted. Do you have any favorite Greek restaurants in the area?
We don't usually go to Greek restaurants.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, we don't. Can you think of any?
I don't think so.
My kitchen. No, seriously. We don't go to Greek restaurants. Am I aware of that? I'm sorry about that. Maybe the Greek Corner in North Cambridge is it's a good like everyday Greek restaurant. I mean, there's some upscale Greek restaurants in downtown Boston. I've never tried.
We've been there. We went there last year.
Where?
It was last year in Boston. There's like a Greek restaurant.
Which one? Oh, the Sfina. That's right. There is one. Yes, there is one in East Cambridge. Desfina is the name of it. Yes, that is a really good restaurant. Small, cozy. On the weekends, I believe it has some live music. Yes. Desfina's great.
Is there any way we can get the all recipe, everything, please?
Yes, sure. I'll write them up and I'll send them to Mina and Matt, and they can send on, or I don't know if you're going to maybe give me the emails of people, I can forward them, whatever you want.
Yeah, we'll send them out. Mina and I will send them out through.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for doing.
Okay.
Do you ever buy prepared foods from Sophia's?
I don't.
No.
No. Mm-mm.
We rarely eat it. Only for like holidays if we need like
But I usually, just because I usually prepare the food, that, I mean, I know she has lots of, it's great variety, and she has good quality stuff there. So I would recommend that you, I mean, I don't know if you've gone, but Sophia's is a great place to get your Greek and Mediterranean stuff.
I want to just thank you, and I want Steph to know how lucky he is to have a mom like you. Because the things that he's learning, yeah, what he's learning right now, he'll have for a lifetime.
You know, I told him that if I knew everything he knows at the age that he is, I would be a different person, you know, and we're pretty healthy, but, you know, it's just amazing. He knows a lot.
Yep.
But he also wants to learn, so it's great to do this together. So I hope that this has been great for us because it's like fun and it's really like play to us. So I hope that this has inspired you to just do this with your own families at home and just get into gardening if you haven't, or, you know, get back to just eating whole, healthy food with lots of different colors and a lot of olive oil and a lot of vinegar and citrus. Usually it's lemon for us, but and oregano, right?
Are you able to take one more question?
Absolutely.
This can be the last one too. Do you make your own Greek yogurt?
I don't. I have done it a couple of times, and now I think that the summer's coming, we might do it a little more. We're going to be fermenting. Steph and I have projects over the summer with fermentation, and I think yogurt is going to be on the list because, you know, we have tzatziki, we make our own tzatziki, obviously. Yes, and it's delicious. You need to have like a good, it would be wonderful to have raw milk, because if you had raw milk, which I know is illegal, but if you had raw milk, there's so many more live nutrients in raw milk to make your yogurt from. But it's hard to make good yogurt with ultra pasteurized milk. So I think I had tried it with maybe a Trader Joe's organic milk, because all the other milks, and grass milk, I think. But all the other milks are, and it's hard because they're ultra pasteurized. So you don't know what kind of nutrition you're getting, even though you're making it yourself.
Like a really cool snack that's really easy to make is a piece of bread and you can toast it. And then if you want, you can also spread feta on top. But if you don't want to do that, then well, if you want to put feta, then you can also put olive oil on top and oregano. It tastes really good. And you can do that with both feta and without feta.
It's a good snack.
It sounds very good. Well, thank you so much, both of you. Hope everyone learned something to make this week or soon.
That's great. Thank you guys for having us, and we hope to be back if you want us to come back and do something else.